What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Built for Life. I'm Joel, and today we're finally going to get back to the Christmas ornament and hopefully pour some metal. That's the goal. So if you're not familiar, if you're just tuning into this one and you're not familiar with where we're at, in the previous video, I decided that I wanted to make a Christmas ornament and give to my family as gifts. So I decided, hey, let's make a metal Christmas ornament. I designed it, I tested it in MDF multiple times, which was a complete and utter failure. I tested it with some, cutting it into some epoxy. Damn that out here. And it worked out well. And finally, we cut it into this piece of graphite. So we've got our design all ready to go. Really, the next thing to do is melt some metal and pour it in. So I'm going to say this multiple times. I have no clue what I'm doing. But basically, in my research, from what I've found, at the hobby level, pretty much anything non-ferrous, which is aluminum, brass, bronze, copper, and aluminum, all that can be melted in basically a hobby furnace, right? So I got to looking at the temperatures. Aluminum, 660 degrees Celsius melting point, 1220 Fahrenheit. Brass, 905 Celsius, 1660 Fahrenheit. Bronze, 913 degrees Celsius, 1675. Copper, 1084 Celsius, 1983 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's really hot. Those temperatures are a little intimidating for me because I don't have no idea what I'm doing. So did some more research trying to figure out the best way to go about this, the best way to learn, and I basically discovered that there is another metal, pewter, which is a alloy that's about 95% tin, and then it has basically the rest is made up of copper and antimony, and in like lower quality stuff it has lead in it, and that melts at about 230 degrees Celsius or 446 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not as intimidating. I mean, you run ovens almost that hot, so that's not as intimidating, especially when, I mean, you can melt pewter with a propane torch. So I got some pewter. I actually bought some off Etsy from a seller on Etsy. And then through watching some other videos, I discovered that you can kind of go, that a lot of stuff's made out of pewters, little statues and stuff like that, and that you can go to secondhand shops and find it. And that's exactly what I did. I went to a local secondhand shop and was just milling around looking for stuff, and I found this. It's actually I think it's a Christmas hanger for your stockings, but this is all pewter. I think so. All this was like $2.99 at the secondhand store, which is, compared to this ingot of pewter, is much cheaper. So, but I wanted to kind of investigate all ends of it, and it was kind of cool to go my first spot I went and found some pewter, so that's cool. But yeah, those temperatures are a lot less intimidating. So I decided to go to the pewter, and then what are we pouring it into? So I already talked about the graphite that I'm using in the last video. So this is graphite. It's used in refractories all the time for molds. It has a melting point of like 4,000 degrees. So we're not 4,000 degrees Celsius. So we're not going to get anywhere close to that. But you can buy it in blocks like this. You can buy it in blocks like this that can be CNC'd. And you can even buy pre-made. This is an ingot mold, so whatever's left over, like I don't pour, I can just pour it back into this ingot mold and have a place to, somewhere to put the leftover, so I can melt it again. So what are we melting it in? Well, I purchased this furnace. It's from Castmaster. It's their GG5000 propane melting furnace. And it basically comes with this furnace, the hoses, and the crucible, which is kind of the pot that it melts in. I bought this actually for another project that I've got down the road, but I wanted a way to practice for this upcoming project that y'all see in a future video that I think is going to be pretty cool. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to try it. Use pewter, lower melting, try it in these Christmas ornaments. But yeah, so I decided to go with Castmaster. That is an American company their products are manufactured in China. But I think they were out of North Carolina. I purchased this. I reached out to them to see if they had anything to say, and they never responded. So we'll see how it works. There are a ton of furnaces out there, and I don't know anything about them. So there were some good reviews on this one, and for the price, it was seemed like the best one that I could go with for my experience. Because I mean, who knows? I may do this and not enjoy it, and get rid of it. So I didn't want to spend a ton of money on like the most expensive electric furnace and then end up not liking it. So I guess the next thing to do is let's get this thing heated up. And there's some steps that you have to go through, that you're supposed to go through with this equipment to prep it for melting metal. And I'm going to spare you on all that. And I'm going to get this thing ready, and let's go melt some metal. Well, we got everything set up. Went along with the instructions. Got everything installed and set up correctly. I'm going to light it for the first time. See how this goes. Woo, that got me. Lost some hair on that one. I'm going to try it a different way. That's much better. Okay, I think we've done everything we can do. I think I've got everything set up the way I want it. My plan is to, I've got some of the metal already in the crucible. I'm going to put the top on, light it, and then set the crucible in with my tongs and melt it, and then pour it in. Hopefully it's that easy. Okay, let's go with gloves. Tongs. I don't want to get directly over it, but I do need to heat the mold up some. So I'm going to struck the hole just a little bit with the mold. Heat this thing up. Tell you one tool that I don't have that would be very helpful at this point would be a laser thermometer. You know, so I could just hit that mold, see what the temperature is. Definitely need to get one of those on order before I continue. There it goes. Hot, just reposition. And then this leftover stuff that I don't know what it is, set right there. Now I'm going to take a block of this pewter here. Oh, one that I don't drop on the ground. Go ahead and set it in the crucible. And then we're going to set it right back in. And then put the top on. So you can see here now that, so all this came out of it and all this came out of it. And now I've got a clean ingot that we're going to be able to work with. Just like that is a clean ingot that is being melted right now. And once I'm done with this, then I will be able to go back and use this now that all the contaminants and stuff that we didn't want is gone. And that is melting super fast. At this point, we should be ready. Turn that flame down a little bit. And let's pour our first ornament. Here, reposition. Ooh. Okay, so it's not level. This is going to go back in here to stay warm, stay hot. We figure out what we did wrong. Okay. So now I need to clean this out. All right, so here's what I figured out. My mold definitely needs to be level. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but in the meantime, I've cleaned out the ingot mold, and I'm going to pour what's left over into that. Then I'm going to reset and clean out my ornament mold, and then we're going to give it another shot. In just a little bit. So I can turn this off. All right, turn that off. I'm going to clean my Christmas ornament mold out and then get it leveled, and then try again. But I'm going to put this back in here to kind of hold in all the heat in it. Give this a shot. That melted pretty easily. Here, reposition. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can make this. Well, guys, what you'll see here is the start of kind of a trend of failure in this project. I tried multiple times to pour on the single-sided mold, heat it into place, but and this is just a sign that I have no idea what I'm doing. The surface tension of that metal was just holding it all together, whereas my mind was thinking like water. It was just gonna fill up those nice divots of the mold, and I was gonna get this beautiful metal piece. Well, that could not be further from the truth. That is not what happened at all. As soon as I start to heat it up, it all wants to just come together in one big ball, or just sit around the outside ring of it. And I started like raking it into the cavities and stuff, but ultimately that wasn't what I wanted in the end. So in a minute here, I'll roll in some clips of just failure after failure. But the important part is I didn't give up, and there is more to come. Set that in. I'm going to try to. Oh, all right, guys, I got an idea. I think I figured out a way to fix it and save this video so it's not a complete failure. So when I bought this, it was big. I only cut on one side. You can see this line I've marked here. I think what I'm gonna do, since I'm having a problem with the metal like sticks together, you know, a lot like solder does, and I had success with a two-part mold that I purchased. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a vent in here. I'm gonna cut a fill in right here and possibly bring it all the way down to here so that it fills into the letter better. And then I'm gonna take this side, flip it over. I'm gonna cut it here, flip this over, sandwich it together. So this one will just be flat, and it will create the cavity here, and then the fill ports will be here, and then the vent will be here at the top, and we'll give it a shot, see if it'll work. I'm actually going to cut this by hand with my little Japanese pole saw that I showed in my tools video. Like I said, this saw has ended up being the rock star. That worked perfect. If I have any luck, they'll be about the same size. Ooh. Oh, that's perfect. That couldn't be any more square. Okay. Now I'm going to take my little Dremel and I'm going to make the ports. This is the bit I'm going to use. It's a little round burr carving bit. I was hoping I could get the phone to focus on it. That's the bit I'm going to use. Just going to freehand this with my Dremel. So here is the vent, and then a bit of a funnel here, and then I also connected it here because in the first video we did a test and we had an issue getting flow up to this area. So we're going to hope that that solves it. So that connects this cavity and then the letter cavity. So and then hopefully all the air will vent out here. A picture is it going and looping around, pushing all the air out here. I don't know. We'll give it a try. I'm going to clean this up with a hand file to see if I can smooth that down some. Make it look not so much like a beaver did it. And then try to get back out here and see if I can give this one more shot. Here, I got the crucible heating up on speed mode right now, pouring the heat to it. I've got my one-sided mold with a back piece on it now, the funnel cut in it, and the vent hole like I just showed. And if all goes well, we will pour it into there and then it'll work. We'll see. We may end up having to go in and cut different vent holes or different fill holes to make this thing fill correctly. I'm not looking over this thing anymore because there's so much heat coming out of it. Earlier, I almost lost my eyebrows. So I think we're good right there. I think that's enough heat. It's not complete, well, it is completely melted. That crucible is super hot, so it's plenty hot enough. I'm going to put some heat into the mold. The last thing I want is the cold mold to like stop up the fuel port, and just only take a little bit of metal. Not super happy with how kind of unstable this is. I'm going to use that to brace it a little bit. All right, this should definitely be hot enough. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to pull it out. Oh yeah, that's super hot. Set it down here. Reposition. Well, definitely missed the hole a good bit. I think this may take 2 pours just to get enough heat into the mold. Because that initial pour, I feel like it did exactly what I was talking about, and was just the mold was too cold. So I don't know. Let's see here. If I can lay it down like this, take the clamps off. Maybe. Oh, so close. We're so close. Whew. It's got some heat in it. So close to making that work. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect circle. All right. It's definitely got a lot more heat in the mold now. Hopefully that will help. Oh, it's definitely hot. Holy cow, it's hot. I got that lined up good. I can stop misaligning it. Even the clamp's got a bunch of heat in it. Let's stand that up. See if that'll stand up like that. This other clamp. I'll counterbalance it. Ooh, that worked. We're definitely getting closer. If we can get that E to fill up, oh no, low battery. Oh man, low battery. I'm really running out of time. If I can get that E to fill up and flow like I'd like it to, this could work. Okay. Drop that back in there. Okay. Well, one thing I'll worry about is that the vent, when I pour like that, the vent gets covered up. Let's see. That one off. Lay it down. This one off. Oh, we can only get that ring so far. Man, we're getting so close. Well, we're getting the ring at least. You ever taken on a project that you knew going into it was not something in your skill set, and then get into that project and find out it was way beyond your skill set? Well, I think that's what we got here. The one-sided mold, as you can tell by the video, failed miserably. Uh, I don't know why I didn't think that it would work. It'd be one thing if it was just a deep mold and all the metal could stick together, but trying to get these the loop was just impossible. Then changing it, cutting it in half, and turning it into a two-sided mold. Um, it almost worked. It was very close. I just think some of the cavities were just too small for it to work perfectly. So after trying that, um, dealing with some frustration, doing some more learning, I ordered some more graphite. I went back to the CNC and I made a two-sided mold. Um, so here's a couple minutes of that machine process.
So for alignment purposes, I had to take one side completely down so that I could leave some raised pins so that it would all kind of fit together in a puzzle and align itself so that the funnels and the um, air vents would all line up, and then both sides of the ornament would line up. And this part here is just making the pins and flattening one side down.
So now that we designed and cut a two-sided mold that fits together, it's got a large funnel and an air place for the air to escape. I don't know the technical terms for this. If you're big into casting and you've done all this before, and please leave in the comments. Tell me what I did wrong, what might have helped. I do intend on continuing to do some of this stuff. Like I said at the beginning, this is all just a project to more or less practice and work out the kinks before a larger project. But even with all this frustration, I still kept going, and the two-sided mold worked. I managed to get some very nice representations of what I was looking for. So the only thing left to do now is clean it up. And I've cleaned up one of them. I'll show you here. And all I've done on this one is just if you've watched the tools video, these foam abrasive, I don't know what to call them, pads. Basically a circle foamy abrasive of like 120, 180, 320, and 400. So that I bought off of Amazon. That was on my tools video. And I did some filing, did some sanding, and it cleaned it up quite well. This video has already gone too long. I'll probably do another video later on basically revisiting this casting process, and as like a first-time caster, what I learned, the stuff that you need to get into this, and some tips and tricks that I figured out along the way that made this project actually work. Man, it was a tough one. But like I said at the beginning, this is how I learn, is to just jump in feet first and mess up, figure out how I messed up, correct it, and keep moving forward. It is definitely a timely and expensive way to learn, but it's also really fun to, face all that failure and then at the end triumph and get exactly what you were looking for in the end. Now, is this exactly what I was looking for? I think so. I knew that I wasn't going to come out with a perfect ornament. There's still a lot I have to learn. I'm learning every time. Every time I do this, I'm learning something else and applying it and getting better and better. So in the end, it was fun. I learned a lot, and I've got some Christmas presents. So the next thing I'm going to do is clean all these up, and next thing will be to show you what I'm making for all the guys in my life, my brothers and my father. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting that thumbs up. Don't cost you a thing. If you want to see more stuff like this, including the video where I revisit casting as a beginner, consider hitting that subscribe button, and we will pick apart all my failures and how I fixed them. So we'll catch you on the next one, guys.